All right, kind of doing this stand-up podcast right now. I got Jackie Bushman on the horn, the Buckmaster. Yeah, I'm ready, Jackie. Let's just do an impromptu podcast. We're talking weird hunting, dating life, grandfather life, and a little business, Bucks. Business. The rut is worth waking up for. So I just wanted to say that. Turkey hunting in the morning, elk hunting in the morning, and rutting whitetail in the morning. That will get me out of bed.
Well, I'm glad. All right. Now, you have kind of got your own little niche going, for the last few years. And that's kind of weird deer hunting and coming up with different situations that you can try to shoot a deer weirdly, if that's the word.
Well,
how do you go about thinking about that and making it happen? Because that takes a lot of hours. I know, hunting's hard, but what you're trying to do is even 100 times harder.
Well, thank you, Jackie. I don't know if you're being facetious or not, but it's not only weird deer hunting, it's weird elk hunting, it's weird turkey hunting, it's weird hog hunting, and the word weird throws people off so much. It almost has a negative factor, but I actually like it. I've been blessed beyond my wildest imaginations of great hunting places. I've gotten to hunt at your place. We managed our family's place and it became great. I've hunted all over the world, thank the good Lord. I've been so blessed. But after 20 years of doing traditional hunting, it hit me, and God kind of spoke to me a little bit like, Matt, the internet doesn't like to watch traditional hunting anymore. I look at normal hunts, like whitetail hunts from a deer stand, and I see people put them out there on the internet. Nobody shares them, nobody likes them, nobody talks about them. And then, so I tried to come up with some unique ways to go hunting, and I filmed them, we edited them, we put as much production power as we would on one of our TV shows that we do into an internet video. And our very first one we did was called the Biker Buck. We had a full body decoy on a tricycle, and I pushed a full body buck in a food plot, hoping to get a rutting mature whitetail to fight me, and I was going to bow hunt from behind this tricycle buck. We did all that, took 18 days to film, 2 months to edit, and here's what God spoke to me really quickly. 10 million views on that one hunt. And it's tough to argue with those kind of numbers. So once we did a 10 million view hunt, I said I can't go back to traditional hunting anymore because nobody cares on the internet. And so anyway, how do I go about doing them? That's the thing. I can't do the same thing. So the biker buck has been done. The tricycle buck hunt, it's already seen and done. So what do I do? I have to come up with something new. And you got to spend a lot of time talking to people. You got to kind of, even at the watering holes, local watering holes, people like to have cocktails and tell me ideas. We do a lot of bouncing off of that. And then just having fun with it, talking to kids about what do you want to see next? What do you want to do? So it's an evolving weird hunting practice that really I don't know the end game. I really don't know, where am I going with this? I just know I can't do the same things over and over, and that's what I'm up to.
Well, you did make that comment on it took you 18 days. And to be able to pull off something like that, you're fortunate that you've got your home property with a liberal deer season to be able to pull that off. So there's a lot of variables behind doing that, but you've got to have the property, you've got to have the hunting seasons, and you got to have the time to pull it off. And it took you 18 days to pull off a 10 million view. That's what.
Well, that's yeah. If you do factor in, a lot of people don't have what is it? What is our most valuable currency in life? It's our time. I don't care how much money you make, what do you do for a living, what's your social status. We all have the same currency in this life, and it's time. And I have been lucky to have time to be able to put into this stuff. 18 days is our average to film one of these weird hunts. a lot of people that produce hunting content, they literally just want to get it done as fast as they can. And not even that, people that just want to go hunt want to get a deer down or a turkey down as fast as they can. They don't have the time. And I figure while I'm not married, I'm single, I don't have any kids, that I know about. Just kidding, Jackie. Keep it PG-13. But I'm saying right now, I'm single, I'm free as a bird. Why not go after the long, enduring weird hunts while I can afford this luxury of time? And it's been the most crazy fun adventure because they're not always at my home property. Because a lot of haters on the internet were like, oh, it's easy to do what you do. You got the best land ever. You got the property. Come do that on public land, and all that. And I get it. And actually, I started a public land hunt that's taken me already 18 days. So I'm trying to do it in different states. I just got a weird one done in Idaho. We just got, Jacob, where do we go get another one done? Wyoming. We bounce around to different states too. Texas, we went to Texas. So anyway, I'll shut up. But that's kind of what we do, and it's not easy. It's hard.
No, I know what I do, and I know we have 4.5 days on location to do a show, and we got to bounce around because we're hunting different states to produce the 13 shows we've got. But like I said, it's a whole different deal being on the outdoor network compared to doing internet. So you do have the time, but the main thing is keeping the hunting ethics. Where you're not doing anything wrong that'll to do something unethical, and you've kept your nose clean on that, and they've been ethical shots. But I knew, I know what it takes us to do a show, and I'm watching what you're doing. I knew it had to take a bunch of days, but 18 days, that's a lot of time. All right, well, let's talk about this, because I have a story I remember. You bring me to Allah, okay? Bring the sweepstakes. Your family is so nice to bring there. And, I thought I was going to get to spend some special time with my adopted nephew, but no, he's going on a Facebook date. And boy, was that a special time for you. And it was terrible for me because I didn't get to see you.
So, as a single guy, I think the best way to meet girls, if you're in the woods, 2/3 of the year, if you happen to have cell signal and you're in a deer stand, I often find myself kind of looking, Instagram, Facebook. I do some apps, I'm always just looking, like a rutting buck. You have to kind of make scrapes and kind of message things through the internet. So you just happen to fall into a time where you came to hunt at our property, and I had a girl that wanted to do dinner, and I had to choose between guiding Jackie Bushman, which I've already done before, already done successfully. And I was like, man, I already done that. I love to see Jackie, but I also never met this amazing looking girl from Mississippi, and she seems nice. So I decided to make a judgment call to allow you to be guided by our awesome ranch manager. May he rest in peace, Terry Carr. You got a world-class guide from Terry Carr and Big Bill. I put you in good hands, and I went on a date.
Yeah, you did. And that date lasted, 5 minutes, you told me?
Well, the funny part about that date, I will never forget this. It was a Sunday. We meet in Mississippi, and I didn't know, not a lot of things are open in a small town in Mississippi, but there was a Mexican restaurant that was open. And I was like, oh, meet me at Fat Mama's, I think. I can't remember. I think that was it. And I sit down, I beat her there. And, I've been well over 21 for a while. So I order 2 margaritas, and it's in the evening, I'm like, let's just start off with a margarita. Break the ice, and she sits down, and she's all nervous, and she's looking around like a cat almost. Like, cats kind of look around before they settle in.
I'd look around too if I had to sit down next to you.
Truth. This is truth. And so she sits down finally, and I'm like, you know what? This is an internet date. I guess, yeah. I mean, for me, it's kind of no big deal. I'm an extrovert. I can meet anybody, talk to anybody. But for her, what if she's an introvert? What if she's nervous? So I was like, I felt in my heart I needed to tell her something to calm her down. And I'm like, hey, listen, you seem just a little bit nervous. I want to let you know I'm not like a crazy internet guy. I come from a good family. I want to let you know I have no intentions of anything but just to have a good time and have dinner right now. So can you just trust me on that? And I know everybody asks you to trust them, but I promise you can relax. And she looks around and looks at me. She takes a big, deep breath, and she goes, it's not you, Matt. I just haven't been a lot in public lately. And I start to think to myself, I'm like, well, how do I respond to this? And I said, well, as opposed to private, where have you been? In private? And she goes, well, yes. As she takes a big sip of the margarita I just bought her, they told me I had a drinking problem.
I hate to laugh. That's not funny. But it's just the way you set it up.
Yeah, well, I didn't know that old girl has just got out of rehab or whatever, and I set up a date and order a drink and put her in a bad spot. And I hate to laugh too, but it was from an innocent side. Like, I didn't mean to do that. And then, so it was an interesting date. Great gal, great gal. Haven't kept in touch much, but we had a good night.
Had it to do over now. You know, if you know what you know now, you would have stayed in camp and guided the Buckmaster, right?
Never. Not even close. I would never, ever pass up that opportunity. And it's a story for my life. I love that. I love that train wreck date story.
I got you. Well, look, you made a comment one time, and this is what I'm really worried about, because everybody needs to find a young lady out there they fall in love with and have kids, and you can have grandkids and this and that. But you've knocked your odds down a bunch because you said, I will never marry a woman that's taller than me. Well, the problem is 75% of the women in the world are taller than you, so your pool has gone down.
Jacob, find a tape measure if you can, or have Micah bring one in.
Steal sneakers and go out with somebody or something?
Well, all right, so let's get the height conversation out the way. First off, I am about 5'10". I wish I can say about 6 foot, but let's call it 6 foot minus 2. That's where I'm hovering at. With cowboy boots, you never know, 5'11", who knows? But so here's the thing. I grew up and I watched my dad with my mom all my life. My dad's 6'2", 6'3". My mom's 5 foot to 5'2". He's a foot taller. So, and then my grandfather was taller than my grandma, and on both sides of the family. So in my head, uncles, always the men were taller than the women. So it never occurred to me in my life that I would be with a girl taller than me, because I grew up around guys who are taller than the girls. So now it's like a complex in me. I'm like, I gotta be taller than the girl. So yeah, I've alienated probably 50% of the female that I can possibly be with that weird complex about me and being taller than the girl.
No, it's 75%, not 50%. So we'll work that for you. All right, let's go. You've been working on a lot of business projects. You and I have a lot of fun, but you've got a very good business mind, and I've watched you, build that whole Barnett and all that stuff, wild game innovations over the years with your brother Ryan. But now you're in some new stuff. You got the AccuBow and a feeder company, and Bio Outdoor. I mean, you got a lot of stuff going. What's going on with all those three?
Well, I wouldn't be able to be a business person without my brother and my dad, and because I was like a bull rider getting into this industry. I held on to both of them, and they couldn't buck me off of the business. And I got to learn from good businessmen, and I had good partners. Not just them, my partners in every business we ever grew, from Wild Game Innovations and to Barnett Crossbows, Flexstone Game Calls, Evolved Habitats, Ameristep, Halo Rangefinders. You start to name all the brands, and all of those, Evolved Harvest. I mean, every brand was because of the partners. So anyway, I learned a lot, and then now I'm finally, on my own. We have sold a lot of our businesses, and now I'm working on some businesses that we're launching from scratch with great partners that I have. And yeah, one of them that I'm really excited about is something that a lot of people would think is out there, but it's not. And literally, I have it right here, but it's an all American made outdoor apparel brand. Like, you would think that hardcore red-blooded Americans would be wearing outdoor apparel made in America. The thing is, they're not. There is so many buck and duck apparel brands that have logos on them that are outdoor themed, and they literally aren't made in America. So we have been for 2 or 3 years finding a source, and we actually have a factory in the United States making American apparel with real American workers, American, all the fabrics, every little, the leather patches are even American cows. Like, everything about this brand, it's called Buck Feather, is going to be made in America. So we're going to be putting Americans to work, and then we're going to be giving back proceeds, portions of profits that go back to preserving America's hunting and fishing habitat. So that's something that we're really excited about, and it's called Buck Feather.
That's a great idea. I mean, you've seen what this world's turned into the last few years, and we got to get back to grassroots. The flag, praying back in school. I mean, there's just so many things we got to get back to. But made in America, built in America, I think that's somewhere we got to get back to, because we've lost that somewhere. So good for you on trying to make it happen, and I wish you the best on that. AccuBow, I remember you had that on the TV show and stuff. Talk to me a little bit about the AccuBow. That's a pretty cool little project right there.
Well, yeah, I honestly, I made fun of the inventor of AccuBow. I remember he came out with this product, and I was like, why on earth would I want to pull back a bow and not shoot an arrow? He's like, it's a strengthening device. It'll actually help you develop the muscles and muscle memory to help you pull your bow back and hold it and be a more lethal hunter. And I was like, yeah, but why don't I just go shoot my real bow? And he's like, well, what if it's snowing and raining and crappy weather or too windy? You can do it all inside and pull back 70 pounds. And I'm like, well, I just don't get it. And then he showed me that you can download an app and put your phone right onto the front of the AccuBow and go hunting around the world with very lifelike shots. I was like, whoa, the gaming and the fun of this product, it took it to another level. Then I go from making fun of him to asking, how can I put real money into the company and invest in your company? Because I see what you're doing now, and it's a lot more than what I thought. And so it has been a dream. The business has doubled in size every year since we became partners, and we got some super exciting stuff coming out soon. We have a youth model coming out called the AccuBow Nano. It's going to be for kids, ages 3 and up, a lightweight AccuBow, and they can game on it, hunt around the world, and shoot animals, flying carp. But anyway, it's been such a fun company because it recruits hunters. Like, a lot of people don't like to shoot a real bow. They're scared of them. Now that if you want to introduce somebody to hunting, you can hand them an AccuBow, let them shoot a Gims buck somewhere in Africa, or like take them to hunt an elk in Wyoming on the AccuBow app and let them get a taste of hunting digitally. And so I'm excited what this can do for the sport of hunting, and kind of capture that millennial age gap that loves the game too much. our whole goal is to recruit more hunters and get people out there doing the real thing.
Yeah, well, that's a cool concept. All right, I know the fall is going to be approaching here. I know you thought of one crazy hunt that you're going to try. What is it?
So we had a good season last fall for big game. Fishing for deer was a big one that hasn't launched, but we got that one done. And we got, a couple that are incomplete. But the biggest one that I'm going to make a point to finish is that it's called the Puppet Master. And so we have two full body. I bought a full body buck mount off the internet. Made a good deal. It was about $300 or $400, and we cut the head off of it, and then we made it in a fighting position. We reattached the head in a fighting position, and we got another full body buck, and we put his head, cut it off, and put it in a fighting position. And basically, their heads kind of wiggle a lot now that they're kind of detached. So I tie strings to both of their heads, and we position them in a food plot or a field, and I hide about 10 to 20 yards away like a puppet master, and I have the strings in my hand, but the strings are tied to rattling antlers. So I have my rattling antlers, and as I'm rattling the antlers together, the string is making the bucks emulate like they're fighting. So I would like to emulate a puppet master buck fight with full body mounts and have a mature buck come in and shoot them while we're fighting or putting on a show.
You better be in a whole bunch of hunter orange, because you dang sure don't want to be down below them, because you're going to be mounted after that.
That's not a public land hunt. That's not a public land hunt right there. But that's kind of the crazy one. And we just did a fun Airbnb turkey hunt. I went ahead and we're traveling the country turkey hunting, and I'm excited about this one because Airbnb is the new craze. Nobody's really wanting to do hotels. They want to rent Airbnbs. And I was looking for a hotel somewhere in Idaho, and they were expensive. So we pulled up Airbnb. Next thing you know, there was an option to rent a 22-acre farm outside of town. Like, it had a barn to stay in. I said, well, shoot, 22 acres. Let's rent this, and I'll call the host and see if I can hunt it and kill a turkey. And so we called her, and they were like, wait, what? You want to hunt? And I was like, yeah, I'm renting your place. Can I please hunt your birds? She goes, I don't see why not. You're using a bow? I was like, yes, ma'am. So we shot a bird off of our Airbnb host. So that was pretty fun.
That is fun. All right, my friend, I know we've covered a lot of ground. Looking forward to hunting with you this fall. Keep up all the creativity, because you definitely have a very creative brain. We've got to get you a taller woman in your life, okay, that hopefully you can join the rest of us. But again, thanks for being on the Buckmasters Outdoors Podcast. It's today, folks, with my buddy, my adopted nephew, Matthew Busbus. We'll check you next.
Well, thank you for having me, Jackie, Uncle Jackie. And I know that the Buckmaster, the women of the workforce there, are helping find me a lady as well, and I appreciate y'all.
All right, buddy. We'll be in touch.
All right, later.